This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about
Loki, episode 6, and a little bit on episode 5. Spoilers, huge spoilers ahead.
Spoilers.
Huge spoilers. There's also time codes down in the
break
description.
open the universe.
Yeah, so there's time codes in the description. We talk everything.
The future of the universe, how things are going to be going, the relationship between Loki and Sylvie.
Kang the Conqueror.
And Kang.
Kang and Renslayer's kind of love interest thing going on. Yeah, everything from that, the timelines, everything. It's a lot
of spaghetti.
Easter eggs, season 2, all that jazz and more. Enjoy! Pre-Butter, Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
You almost had it.
That's
You're
fine.
on a roll.
Can you not call me out, bro? Come on, I'm doing my best.
I'm doing pretty good. How do I sound, Jake?
I don't know. I don't really know till the edit. But yeah, Daniel is trying out a new mic, so hopefully things will be alright.
For those of you watching on video, let me just look at it.
Wow.
That kind of looks...
Crotch shot.
Yeah. Let's not do that. That kind of looked weird.
Also, thank you everyone for your patience. I know we kind of took last week off with episode 5, but like I was out of town for pretty much the whole week, and just like things were going on.
Yeah.
In the meantime, thanks for everyone checking out the TikTok. We actually had one kind of get picked up by the algorithm and stuff. So like it has like I think 22,000, almost 23,000 views, which is like really cool. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Keep checking it out. We'll keep posting more. Also, July 13th, which will be a couple days before. This will have happened a couple days ago. It's the 2-year anniversary of our podcast. Woo!
Holy guacamole!
Yeah, so thank you for joining us for these 2 years. Here's to hopefully many more. Yeah. Also, an update on the merch that we talked about last time. Some of the stuff wasn't that high quality, so I'm gonna try to figure some stuff out for that. So it might be a little delayed. Anyways, I think it's enough up top. You ready for the introduction, my friend?
Yeah, hit me with it.
You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Welcome back to Whatever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two definitely handsome gentlemen, talk about movies, TV shows, getting behind the scenes, insights, filmmaking techniques, all that jazz, and more. What are we talking about this week, Daniel?
Loki! Are we doing episode like 5 and 6? Or are we
We're just going to, mainly 6. We're going to touch upon episode 5 just a little bit up top.
Like do a quick recap. Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on... Well, so episode 5 is Journey into Mystery, and episode 6 is For All Time Always. What's your thoughts on the last 2 episodes, just overall?
Okay, so there's so many ways that this could go still. Because there's... This whole time that we've been talking about this, I've been talking about the hierarchy of it. So, I don't know how they're going to try to...
It's weird because,
this.
like, I feel like every other Marvel show so far has kind of had, like, a... wrapped up ending because I think it's only been confirmed 1 season for all those, and now
then we have a season 2 for Loki.
Is season 2, which is really awesome. But like, I wanted things to get wrapped up. Like I wanted Mobius on his jet ski. That never happened.
They're saving that for the end of season 2.
Yeah,
for when they
that'll be the same level reveal as
TVA.
like Luke Skywalker. Like same level like reveal as Mobius on his jet ski. Just everyone in tears. Yeah. But anyways, episode 5. Just want to talk about some Easter eggs really quickly up top. So first off, the very beginning was a super long establishing shot. I just thought I should comment on that. And then some things I noticed, and we talked about a little also before, was Throg, or it's not actually Throg, people are saying, because Mjolnir's beside him. It's actually like when Loki like turns him into a frog just briefly. Yeah. So it's not actually Throg. Throg is from the animal universe, which is different. There's a huge argument in our like TikTok comments about that.
Either way, It's not going to be the same variant from the comics. In either case, it's a variant of it that we're seeing, and that's a big thing that people are also having trouble understanding. Like, we are still within technically Earth 19999999, which is the cinematic universe Earth.
I thought 616 was...
616 is Marvel's comic main.
But there's also apparently something... one of the like showrunners said that they actually filmed a scene. I think it might have been earlier, like in the series, like when Loki first comes to the TVA, where actual Throg, voiced by Chris Hemsworth, would like be also like kind of like argue with Loki as he's like coming in. But they cut that for time. But like apparently there's like footage of that out there or something.
It'd be so funny to see that with Gator Loki.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be funny. But anyway, so we also saw the Thanos copter is canon, which like in the comics, Thanos just rides around terrorizing like New York and everywhere, like in a helicopter, and that was in like Prune Land with Goliath and everything. There's also a statue of a head that's like kind of on the ground of the Living Tribunal, which is like 3 heads, and that's I know something in the comics. And also when they're talking to Goliath about or like they're like, we need to wait for something big to come to distract Goliath, and then we'll go in. The World War II ship flies in, and that World War II ship was actually like rumored to like go invisible and stuff like during the war because it was like apparently like a stealth ship or something, and no one knew really how it worked. So I thought that was interesting that they tied that specific ship in.
It goes invisible, literally goes to the end of time.
Yeah, maybe that's why it disappeared. Honestly, that's cool, a little tie-in.
There's also another Easter egg when it came to, it was an iteration of Avengers Tower, but it was, I think, QENC or something like that, like
which is associated with Kang.
Associated with Kang the Conqueror, which is a nice little nod there to that. Yeah,
so let's get into episode 6 and talk about like the one that remains, the one who remains, or he who remains, whatever the guy's title is. So we enter like Kang's castle, and Miss Minutes like gives the biggest jump scare out of like the whole series.
She just came in out of nowhere. I'm like,
for a split second, I was like, were we right? Like, was she behind everything? Also, I saw Sylvie here, and I actually saw some trivia recently I want to talk about with her. The actress who played Sylvie was actually pregnant and had just had a kid and was breastfeeding like during the shoot. So her suit like had detachable like breastplates so that she could like easily breastfeed her kid. I just thought that was
form and function.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, anyways. So Miss Minutes gives like an interesting proposal to like give Loki the throne of Asgard and all the Infinity Stones. So I don't know how that would work, like how that wouldn't cause like a huge rift in the timeline. She's like, it is worked out. So I think that was probably like a lie, but it also I think goes to show how much Loki has grown. Maybe he just thinks she's lying, but like he also like doesn't want that kind of anymore. I guess.
There's also another thing to that, like Kang already knew that they were not going to accept the offer.
True.
So there's that.
Yeah. What do you think on the like Kang or He Who Remains? I'm just gonna call him Kang. He's a variant of Kang. Kang castle design.
Oh wait, of the castle? The
design.
I thought
of the castle.
I thought you were trying to give him like a new name. I was like, Kang the castle designer.
No. What did you think of his like castle that he was in?
I really love the design, and there's a lot of like little subtle details within like the work, like with the symmetry of it, with how things were organized, and just like I mean, you can see in the window panes like the cycling of certain elements to show like everything's one and everything. It was further pushed the idea of him trying to stabilize this part of the multiverse.
I saw a video about someone who did some research on like one of the production designers. Like apparently the castle's designed to look like it was carved out of the asteroid that like they're kind of floating on. So that's kind of why there's like the like veins of like I don't know like ore or like some material in the walls and floor. I thought it looked really cool, like the highlights of like gold and orange.
Like you ever see those like pencils that are like carved into, and you have to get like a magnifying glass to like see the like the pencil tip. Yeah. That's what
kind of like that.
Kind of give that vibe.
That's cool. But yeah, so we see Jonathan Majors, who I feel like did a great job, and he's confirmed to be Kang in Ant-Man 3. So he's like this is the first time we've seen him like a variant of Kang, and I feel like he could show up like a lot in future MCU things because so like just jumping ahead, like oh my gosh, this was a huge like exposition episode and I wasn't expecting it because it's like a finale, but so I feel like he was honestly I think telling the truth. Like I think he is like a nice variant of
he definitely was
Kang.
A nice version of Kang.
Yeah, and now that like he's dead and another one's rising to the power, I think it's not going to be as nice, and this is going to be a worse situation that they've gotten themselves into now. And what I think, so like, I feel like Kang, this version of Kang that we saw, I feel like he might have put up the timekeepers, like the 3 lizard androids, as like the rulers, maybe for safety so that no one goes after him, but also maybe because he doesn't really care if anyone knows that it's him who's ruling. Like, he just is like, the job is done. Like, I don't need the glory of like ruling all of time, the TVA. Like, I'm doing it. I don't need to be recognized for that. But when this new Kang takes over at the end, we see his statue in the TVA. I think he is like very egotistical, may have more evil intentions. Like, yes, I'm all about like ruling and everyone knowing that I'm ruling. So I think that could be some subtle thing to show like this new Kang that's in charge is kind of gonna be bad news.
Yeah. I totally agree. I like how the exposition here also explained how things came to be within our continuity.
Yeah, I thought it did a good job.
Yeah, how there's the different, pretty much the multiversal plane, which I was also talking about before, and then how the war kind of, I mean, it was real to an extent. It wasn't like Battle World or anything, but it was real to the point to where
it was real to me.
Like, it's hard to explain because I feel like there would have been an origin point. Like, the way that he described it is that there were several on different levels, right?
Yeah.
Coexisting at the same time. Which, that's how it works in the comics, with, like, all the different universes, right? In most cases. What this is starting to feel like now is kind of like where 616 has its other, like, it has its variants, right? So, like, again, the example I'm going to bring up is Spider-Man 2099, and, like, the 2099 universe is not Earth 616. It's a future variant of 616, right?
Yep.
But still within the same, like, universal, quote-unquote, timeline, even though it's its own universe.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to be seeing things like Peter Porker.
I don't know. I mean...
other than... Because I feel like that's on a different plane. Whereas
I don't know, dude.
Other things like say like Spider-Verse, where we see like Toby or like Andrew, that could be
because
on
you
got to
think
tangent.
though, like if these branches are happening at all times, so if like a branch happens super early on, like during like evolution, then that could like, sorry, I just hit my mic. That could branch and become like a universe where like animals like rule, and by the time it gets to like the present, it could seem so distant that it's like on parallel planes, but it still is technically like a branch. So I don't know, but anyways, we talked about that a lot before.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I want to talk about B-15 getting kind of unlocking the TV agents' minds, and showing that like Renslayer was a high school teacher in Ohio in 2018.
Yeah, that was crazy to like see. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Well, also, in the background, she has a degree from Ohio State University, which is a rival to my school, Penn State University. So I dislike this villain even more now.
Even more drive to take her down in all of her variants.
Exactly, yeah. Speaking of Renslayer, in the comics, like she and Kang are kind of like a couple, like have like a love interest thing going on. So I'm curious like where she went at the end. And like it kind of seems like they're going towards that like love interest, because it seems like she didn't know he existed, and then like when Miss Minutes was like, here are some files he thinks you might be interested in, like she was fully devoted still to the image and the
ideology
the idea
of
the TVA,
which is going to be a weird thing to see with New Kang. But sorry, you continue.
No, I was just gonna say, so now that she like knows and like is gonna find the man behind it, I feel like she might like be attracted to the person that created this ideology. She's just blindly following, kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, so I also thought it was interesting that Kang was eating an apple, because that reminded me, it kind of like was a parallel to the first time Doctor Strange was like playing with the time stone with the
apple?
The apple, yeah. So I thought that was, I don't know, kind of interesting.
I also saw this one joke where it was an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So it's like that's why Doctor Strange hasn't come up to see Kang yet.
Yeah. There were a lot of interesting just themes about free will, like
yeah.
I felt like Renslayer had a good point about feeling betrayed by Mobius, like even though she went to Ohio State, but she had a good point. They feel like they've been friends and fighting for the TVA for like eons. And all of a sudden these two Lokis come in and like flip everything. But like I obviously on Owen Wilson's side, he is like, it's kind of like Iron Man, like realized what he was doing all these years was wrong, and he decided to like change that and try to make things better, I guess. So, but I see like where she's coming from. Excuse me, which is really interesting.
You want to know my hot take?
What?
I feel weird with how they're trying to define free will in this case. Because the Lokis, in a way, still had free will. I don't know how things were working at the end of time, But like,
okay,
again, every single possibility is a probability, so therefore it can be a reality. Whether or not the timeline is intact or not with the TVA and Kang and all that.
Speaking of like just the Kangs,
it's just so it's like layers on layers on layers. That's what makes it complicated.
I feel like with Kang, I liked his backstory and how they showed us like with the like it kind of reminded me of like Ego revealing his backstory with like the changing pictures and stuff. But so he's from like the 31st century, which is in the comics where he's from, and then like we were talking about like the multiversal war and stuff. But then Kang like harnessed Alioth and to stop the multiversal war. So yeah, like I was saying, I just feel like this new Kang is going to be bad news, and I think that's going to be like Kang the Conqueror, that like what he's been called kind of thing. And I think it's interesting also when Kang proposes Loki and still be running the TVA or like and keeping the sacred timeline intact, because I think he chose them like he said, like he led them here because they're kind of more evil and villainous, and what
they're able to do the hard choice.
Yeah, like what he is doing like with the sacred timeline is horrible, because it seems like they're stripping free will away, which back in 2012 Avengers Loki was all about. He was like, we need free will to be gone, like the humans don't deserve it, like they need someone to lead them, to follow. So that's kind of what his message has been, so it makes sense for Kang to, I guess, seek him out. But I feel like Loki's changed by this point, which is why he's like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
I don't want to do that.
But yeah, like a Captain America, a strong hero, would never be able to lead the TVA because he would be learning that free will is just gone, which was like a huge plot point in Civil War and stuff. So like someone like Captain America could never do this, but like a Loki would be able to possibly do this. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But I wanted to ask, excuse me, what do you think like crossed that threshold that like all of a sudden like Kang didn't know what was happening?
Destiny. It was still destined for that to happen. That's the thing. It was destined for that version of Kang to die.
But like, you don't think there was like an event? Like, I think it might have been like Renslayer doing something maybe. That like, I don't know why. Like, he seems shocked that it like happened. So I don't know. Maybe maybe it was like the TVA kind of getting torn apart because of B-15 and Mobius like revealing to everyone, and everyone just kind of stopped like pruning the timeline like all at once or something, or like there's just maybe it was just like a random variation. Well, what if it was just like the dumbest like variation that like caused the timeline just like go off? It's like someone like chose a banana instead of an apple, and they're like, oh, multiversal war. That's it.
We all just go back to that one event and just blame that one person.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like worse than Star-Lord. Like in Infinity
Honestly,
War.
dude, this has such a like larger. I mean, they were talking about that in their conversation throughout. It's like dealing with people's lives, but like on a literal dimensional scale, or reality scale. The way I see it, free will both exists, but is deterministic. So like, there's each and everything in time already exists. If you wanted to go forward in time down to another version of like where we are now, where we're going to have the multiversal war happening, right? Those timelines and universes already existed on the grand scale of time.
Right.
I'm looking at like big T. Small t is like T within like each universe. And then there's also independent T, which is like variables like the TVA, because they're able to.
But that's the thing, though. I don't know if the TVA are how variable those are, because when
there's a T. That's what I'm saying. TVA is small t, because there's now a different TVA per each universe.
But I don't know. It's like weird. Because when Loki's pushed back, like he gets sent to a different TVA.
He's in a different TVA.
That Mobius, like our Mobius and B-15 are like, well, we've done it. Like there's no going back now. So they're like okay somewhere. So I'm wondering like how Loki got sent back to the wrong TVA kind of thing. And next season, how he's going to escape and get
This is why I brought up the points of one-dimensional time travel, two-dimensional time travel, and three-dimensional time travel.
Yeah.
Right now, the TVA, as we've seen it, and technicality, have only been able to do two-dimensional time travel from their pocket. To do three-dimensional time travel would be going from one universe to another.
Yeah, I mean, even in the intro, we kind of saw, like, what looked like two universes almost, like, I don't know. It's a lot to wrap your head around. But What was really sad was
when they started fighting and then they just
when the Lokis broke up. It sounds like a band. When the Lokis broke up.
Did we have another band name for the Lokis? Was it
Living La Vida Loki?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Or Les Lokis. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Les Lokis.
Les Lokis are. What's the singular? La Loki and Lo Loki now. No, not Les Lokis. But yeah, it was really sad because like Loki finally opened up to someone and she betrayed him. Just like that hurts the heartstrings. And Tom Hiddleston's acting, of course, is just phenomenal. Yeah. But so when he gets sent back to that other TVA and finally gets up and he's running through, you can hear the voice of Casey. Like remember from first episode, like the desk worker who was like, we use these as paperweights for the Infinity Stones. Mm-hmm. He's actually like running down the hall. I think he's a hunter now. So in this new TVA, he's not a desk worker. He's like changed and he's a hunter. And he's even credited as like Hunter
Casey. Yeah.
Casey. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought that was interesting. That was another change. But we never get Mobius on the jet ski.
It's sad.
Something to hold on to for season 2.
Which Mobius do you think is going to be on the jet ski? That's the thing.
Better be our Mobius. Like what?
Technically, they all would share the same. In most cases, they would share the jet ski thing.
Yeah,
because they're all sourced.
We just need a squad of Mobiuses on jet skis coming in to take down Kang.
Dude, it'd be like Endgame with like all the portals opening up, and you're like on your left, and then there's like all different kinds of iterations.
Yeah, it's like Lightning McQueen on
It's like cosmic Owen Wilson. There's like one that's like medieval, so it's like all like wood and like metal.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all those. Funny. It's all those Owen Wilsons from what we said, like Lightning McQueen on a jet ski, the when he crashes Owen Wilson on a jet ski, all those. The cowboy from Ninth Museum on the jet ski, just coming out to take Kang down.
Well, I feel like we need a theme. You know, like how Avengers was like. Blah, 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 blah.
I think like, that deserves that theme. I think that deserves. No, that's the big reveal. Like we were talking about with Luke Skywalker. It's just Owen Wilson's riding in on space jet skis.
Ka-chow, ka-chiga.
Yeah. But anyways, so for upcoming with Marvel, how this multiverse can like be influencing things. We have What If, which is coming out like in a month. I think something like that. Hawkeye's apparently still supposed to release late 2021, so I don't know about that. And then Spider-Man No Way Home, which I think will be influenced by this a lot, is December 17th, 2021. And then Multiverse of Madness is still 2022, along with Thor 4.
And I think the big question now is, are we going to be keeping on and following like our main timeline?
I mean, with What If, I don't think we are. I think that's
with What Ifs, we're definitely not. But I mean, like, for when it comes to like the continuation of the movies and like the overarching story.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we'll be pulling in from different universes, but like, again,
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
The main Earth continuity for the MCU so far has been Earth 19999. So are we now going to be the Earth like 19999?
Something I don't know.
But no, that's actually, they sometimes do that. They add like -B or like hyphen whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
But yeah, I also saw a theory with like the multiverse opening that the moment that the very end credit scene of WandaVision, when Wanda like hears her
our kids,
that could have been the moment that when the multiverse opened and she could access that kind of thing. So I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm excited for season 2. I hope that's...
What do you think is going to happen in season 2? Like, what do you... Like, we're going to get Kang. But Kang's also going to be in Quantumanium, isn't he?
Yeah, Quantumania. He's supposed to be... He might be... I mean, in the Fantastic Four that was announced, he's like a classic Fantastic Four villain. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about for this bad boy?
If I do, I'll be going on a super deep, like, not like tangent, because it's pertinent to like understanding the universe and multiverse in this case, but that gets boring for some people. So
if you want to hear that, we'll post it on the Patreon. So Daniel, let's talk about it now, and then I'll cut this part and put it on the Patreon. We're back. I seriously would recommend listening to that. If you guys want to support us over on Patreon, it will be the lowest tier subscription, and we talk about some pretty cool things. Everything from comparing the MCU timeline to a bush, to that bush getting a haircut and growing a mullet, and Mr. T. So it's an interesting talk. If you guys want to check that out, maybe support us on Patreon. That'd be really cool.
I really love that simplification of it, because it's you're talking about really complex stuff, and then you're just like comparing it to a bush.
Yeah, it's fine. All right. Anyways, I also wanted to quickly, before we wrap up our talk on Loki, there was actually some cut stuff from the trailers that never made it in. So some stuff about, like, in the trailers, there was a King Loki on the throne of Asgard. So I think a lot of people are theorizing that when this minutes is like, you can be the king of Asgard, that was supposed to be like
a vision of that?
Yeah, a vision of him, like, thinking about that, like him ruling Asgard and contemplating if he wants to do that or stay with Sylvie, kind of thing. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, that's all I want to say about Loki. Good series. I'm very excited for season 2. We will obviously cover it, so make sure you subscribe and all that jazz.
What do you think Sylvie's going to be doing now that she has free will now? So what do you think she's going to be doing?
I mean, she has free will, and she has that, like...
Well,
she has Kang's, like, super temp pad, so she can probably go, like, most
fourth
places.
Dimensional time
travel?
Question
maybe.
mark?
But anyways, I don't know. What do you think? Fourth dimensional time travel?
I feel like she's going to go old man Thanos path. I'm going to go on a farm and...
Or maybe she'll try to find Loki and just be like, hey, like, sorry, but I had to do that kind of thing.
No, because she knows where his heart's at now, and she knows that
his heart's... Well, she thinks his heart was, like, he just wanted to rule. I still don't think he wanted to rule. He wanted to... He didn't want...
No, he just wants to be with her, make sure she's okay.
Yeah, oh, true, yeah. So... Yeah.
So
maybe that'll scare her off, though. So I don't know.
But because she knows that, she's like, this isn't...
It's that whole thing when, like, once you find out someone likes you, you're like...
she doesn't want it.
It's that thing where, like, once someone finds out... Once, like, someone finds out that someone likes you, you're like, oh, I actually don't like them anymore. I'm just kidding.
Kind of. Yeah, no, exactly. She's like, it's going to work.
Don't do that, people. That's so bad. Like, just, I don't know. I'm a romantic.
Same.
Right. Anyways... actually both of us have, so that's it for Loki. Next time, I don't know what we're gonna do next time. What If starts soon. We also both kind of saw Black Widow. I went to the drive-in with a friend and it was like 20 minutes late, so I technically haven't seen all of Black Widow.
He hasn't seen Black Widow, okay? He needs to rewatch it. We're just gonna say that. But we can talk about it. If you want me to talk about it, I can talk about it.
But yeah. So, you ready for the patron shout-outs?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Cue the Epic Star Wars music. Boosh, we got patron Lori, Frank, Rick, Evan, Lisa, Tony. Thank you so much for listening to the tier. Thank you to the shout out. If you want to support us over on Patreon, the link is down in the description. We really appreciate it. We put episodes up early, extended cuts now. And you get tons of cool perks like roles in the Discord that we record in and stuff like that. So yeah, we would really appreciate if you come check it out. We put a lot of work into that. But yeah, thank you for watching and supporting everything. Please go, if you feel so inclined, to leave a review over on Apple Podcasts in your podcast app. It is actually like a huge help. And we really enjoy reading them. Doesn't look like we have any new ones, which is totally cool. Yeah. Also check out the TikTok. Again, happy 2 years of podcasting. Thank you for being there with us for however long you've been here. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Ready for the outro?
Yes, tell me when.
When?
We just talked about whatever we want to talk about, and now we're done. Blank.
Thanks so much for listening. We really, really, really appreciate it. We will see you next time for Black Widow or What If, or we were talking to our one friend, Evan, about some Justice League stuff. So we shall see. Goodbye.
We will do something. Bye.